Hi and welcome back to Bookish Theories. Today we catch up with ENHYPEN as they delivered the thirsty anthem of the fall with no doubt. According to the press release, the song tells the story of lovers that cannot be together all the time but become convinced of their unchanging love. As promised in Romance Untold, they really brought the heat back this time. When the lovers are together from dusk till dawn, they're ready to prove their love 1,000 times, but from sunrise to sunset they're forced apart. Because of that, the daydream that follows is a fantasy that distracts them from their responsibilities but also proves that their love is real without a doubt. No Doubt is a track that portrays a longing so strong that they fall into delusion every time their loved one is not with them. So fittingly enough, the video portrays this concept with ENHYPEN falling victim of a heated daydream in the middle of their corporate shift. As we see in a second, this fantasy soon takes a life of its own. It gets hot in there, it gets messy because they ain't thinking about work, you know. They don't really care about sending the email because they have other things in mind. If at first we're talking about ENHYPEN having a daydream, in fact, throughout the video it's more like the daydream having ENHYPEN. They're no longer in control of the narrative because they get so engrossed by their delusion that that's the only thing they care about. Throughout the video we kinda see the members trying to fight this feeling. In the boxing scene we get the sense that reality and daydream are fighting for supremacy here, but the daydream is kicking their asses. Ironically enough, it's this very fantasy that makes them realize their love is real. The more they are apart, the more they suffer, and the more they suffer, the more they sink into delusion. Their loved one is the only one able to quench this thirst, so they're ready to get burned just to prove their loyalty. This leads us to the Lobster subplot of the story. In the video, the idea of them burning themselves for love naturally translates into them willingly jumping into the boiling water like a lobster ready to get cooked. See how their makeup mimics the redness of a burn, for instance, or how Jay cannonballs into the pool despite the warning of not falling in love too deeply. Even the lobster on the wall comes with a warning to watch out, because like a lobster, once you get cooked, there's no going back. Even the sign says that there's no exit for love. Once you fall in love too deeply and burn yourself, that's a point of no return. So what ENHYPEN are doing here is quite dangerous, but they shrimply don't care. I'm sorry. I had to include a lobster pun. The daydream has taken over, so they go full lobster with no hesitation. Now, if you think that this lobster imagery is quite random, think again because it's actually the opposite. Lobsters are often considered a symbol of love and prosperity. Not only they're very loyal to their mate, but they also live long, and in modern times they tend to be considered an expensive food which is also an aphrodisiac. In short, lobsters represent a love that's loyal, long-lasting, rich, passionate, and talk about delusion, this daydream is all about bringing this idea to life. In the corridor we even see Nikki straight up turning into a lobster, which really sells the metaphor here. ENHYPEN are so heated by this daydream, they're like lobsters willing to dive into the water just to prove their love, and this lobster concept can also be found in pop culture. A lot of people, for instance, have been mentioning Phoebe's lobster theory from Friends. Phoebe explains that since lobsters are believed to mate for life, Rachel is Ross's lobster, in the sense that they've chosen each other and their endgame. The scene of Nikki's transformation, however, also reminded me of the movie The Lobster with Colin Farrell. This is a strange sci-fi movie set in a world where everybody must find a mate. As a last resort, single people are sent to an hotel for 45 days to find their significant other, and if they fail, they get turned into an animal of their choice, with the lobster being the animal chosen by the protagonist. To be honest, I don't really know if this was an inspiration, but that's the only lobster transformation story that I could think of, so do with this information what you will. In any case, by the end, despite this daydream traps them in an agony with no escape, Nicky uses his claw to break out of the fantasy and come back to reality. This can be seen as the power of his love being strong enough to leave the daydream in order to return to real world, where their loved one is. As they exit the daydream, in fact, we discover that the office was a set. It was not real because they were trapped in a fantasy they couldn't let go of. The moment they escape, they also ditch the office attire and get into their leather set because now it's after hours and it's the time they spend with their loved one. And speaking of loved one, this time it also seems that the video is not officially connected to Dark Moon. I can safely say that none of the characters will turn into a lobster anytime soon in the webtoon, but the video is still full of references that add a bit more information to the lore. For one, the moon is both in the office and outside. This is an important detail because in the story, Selen/Sua are often symbolized by the moon, so if we follow this symbolism, we can say that in the video, the lover that gets them heated is represented by the moon as well. When they fall into a daydream at work, the moon is on the screen because it's not really with them, so it's like something lingering in the back of their mind as they work. When they escape the dream and return to reality, however, the moon is right on top of them. It's right there because it's a night that they can spend spend time with their loved one undisturbed. Another thing that connects the video to Dark Moon is also the setting here. If you look at their cards, the Daydream is set in Vesselsoft, which is the software company that the vampires established a few decades before getting to Riverfield. That is the company that also appeared in Future Perfect and that was destroyed back in Blessed and Cursed. So far we don't know much about this era because Children of Vanfield will cover it on the last season and we're still in season 2, but we do know that Jaka was a senior programmer at the company, and this is also confirmed by Jungwon's card in the video. In No Doubt, the positions of the other members are revealed as well. Hee-sung/Ailey is the CFO of Vesselsoft, so is the Chief Financial Officer. Nikki's Carter Noah is Senior Engineer, Sonus Carter Shion is a Marketing Manager, and Jake's Carter Gino is an advisor in the International Development Department. Both Jay and Sungun's Carters instead work in the Facilities Management Department, with Ian being the Executive Manager and Solon the Associate Director. The last Dark Moon connection that I noticed is actually the birthday cake that appears right at the end. Since No Doubt is a November comeback, it could be a way to celebrate ENHYPEN's upcoming 4th anniversary, but the cake also reminded me of Drunken Days and the vampire's bloody birthday. In the story, none of the brothers remember their date of birth, so they'll celebrate together on the anniversary of their escape from Vanfield. Drunken Days that showed us a birthday they were celebrating as students of the Sallies, but before going there they must have celebrated in Vesselsoft at some point, so the scene might refer to that. It could be something or it could be nothing, but for now this is all I have for you, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to support me, now I have merch linked in the description down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching guys, I'll see you next time, bye bye!